Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry Ramage, managing broker at Remax Elite, and Heather Holiday, your social marketing nut, talking about hottest real estate topics with a little weekly activity and motivation for the week. Well, good morning and happy chilly Monday in many places.
Happy chilly Monday. I think we're going to have a high of 64 today here in Florida.
But what is it now? Because that's not
My
normal.
computer says it's 56 and sunny.
Oh,
it is sunny.
56, I would love that. I am 27 and have flurries, but it's a winter wonderland. It's beautiful. It will probably be here all day today because I think our high is 33.
Yowza. We saw the pictures.
Oh, I know. It's like, well, because usually when it snows, it's gone in a couple hours. So
Right. So it's sticking a little bit this time. So that's awesome.
It took a while because it was kind of rain and sleet, rain and, going back and forth. And then finally it was nonstop snow and it finally started to pile up and it's so pretty. I think snow just makes everything absolutely magical.
There you go. Magical. That's a good word.
When it is, it's like majestic. That's my daughter's word, majestic.
It's magical if you're not having to shovel and go to work.
Oh, no. Luckily, like that, I don't have to worry about. And I think it doesn't last that long. So this is kind of rare, but it did happen last Christmas. So maybe it's not so rare because that's 2 out of the 3 years we've had snowed up a couple inches. That kind of stays.
Right.
Leo took his side-by-side to work, I think mostly because he kind of wanted to play and didn't want to hurt his truck.
That's awesome. Actually. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. So there's a lot going on today.
I love today's session. Today, I think I love it.
Good. So yeah. So just real quick, no school today. I'm presuming no school where you are either because it's Martin Luther King Day. And a few years ago, we had an opportunity to go to the Broker Owner Conference in Washington, D.C. And we did all the tours and we saw all the monuments. And I remember when we both went to, we did the monuments at night. If you've never done the monuments at night, that is a must see, a must do. But when we got to the Martin Luther King Memorial, it was, I don't even know what the right word is. It's
very touching.
That's it. That's a good word.
I mean, it's not even the right word, but it's
right.
I mean, it's something, everything about that tour, even, that photo that you always have in your brain with all the soldiers and the flag and seeing that monument, the Martin Luther King one for sure is, I don't know. It is very,
and all the quotes. It was really just amazing and inspirational and you're seeing so many people now post quote Martin Luther King quotes because it's Martin Luther King Day. So many quotes that he is famous for. So there's that. And then not to take away from that, but it's also would have been Betty White's 100th birthday today.
And I love that everyone is, I mean, it's a shame that she passed 17 days before her birthday, but
right.
But I do love that this whole theme of, helping the shelters and stuff like that. I know here, we had that big storm like last week and a lot of shelters had lost power and stuff. So there were a lot of groups that were, we have our generator from Florida that we don't really need. And we have a camper that has our generator. So it's like looking for donations of even gas can. I mean, just like these little things. Of course, I have like a whole bunch of cat food that my cat doesn't like that I need to bring. I'm just waiting for me to be able to get mobilized and have
to be able
hands
to
to be able
donate.
to do all this. But I did just donate all these dog beds that my dogs don't like, and I'm like over them being in my closet, taking up room. So I did get all of those donated and stuff like that. But
Yeah. So if you have the ability to give today to your favorite local shelter or you know, any type of shelter, honestly, um, today is a good day to do it. And
yeah,
hopefully
the
we'll hear
Betty
tomorrow
White
on the
challenge.
noise. Hopefully we'll hear on the news tomorrow about how much people have given, and maybe it'll become an annual thing. So,
That would be awesome.
right?
Need to make that happen.
For sure. So today we're talking about 4 things that you should be doing in 2022. We're kind of off the heels of our business planning in the fall and kind of getting ready to put your business plan into action. So the first thing is stay motivated, because motivation matters. Sorry, my eyes are itchy today. So you know, keeping yourself motivated is key. You know, so, and we talk about this in our business planning. Stop telling yourself the limiting beliefs. Stop
That's a
saying,
big one. I
yeah,
think that's huge, and I didn't realize how big that was of maybe one of my issues until we did that whole Tony Robbins thing.
mm-hmm,
Um, and that's really big for me. So when I saw that, I was like, ding, 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 because it's always, I don't know. I'm always telling myself limiting beliefs
yeah,
constantly, constantly,
yes,
and it's horrible. I
yeah,
hate it. I hate
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's, you know, don't stay away from the I can't, and start with the I can and I will type talk. You know, you need to have positive self talk. Um,
I think it also helps when you're with a tribe of people in a group that really helps you stay inspired and reaching those goals that you want to do, that kind of help you, that distract you away from those limiting beliefs that you're constantly telling yourself. I know for me that's really big. That's
Well,
really
I think that's a huge thing. I mean, I think keeping yourself, you know, they always say eagles soar with eagles. You know, don't be the smartest person in the room. Put yourself in a room with people who are more motivated, who are smarter, who are working harder, because it helps to keep you motivated. You
Yep,
know, I think, I mean, here at Remax Elite, we have so many great agents who had such a great year, you know, and I think the motivation from agent to agent is what keeps you going, you know,
I
for
mean, and
sure.
I see a lot of that just from, the training room, which has the Hall of Fame and lifetimes and all of
Mhm.
those awards. And that, when an agent comes in that may be newer, like that's their goal is
Yep.
to be
Just
on
to
that
get up on the
wall.
wall. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're surrounded by all of these people who have hit that milestone. And I think it's awesome because then it's a big celebration when somebody does achieve that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then remind yourself of what matters to help keep you motivated. You know, what are you doing this for? Whatever it is, whether it's real estate or something else, honestly, what are you doing it for? You know, for me, basically it's for my family. But loving what you do helps, right? I love what I do.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
it's
So I
easy.
think finding that passion and your why is, and I know we really cover that in the business planning, because I think whenever you know your why, that's what keeps that passion and why you do what you do. And, on those bad days, because it is super, I mean, even though so many are having the best years of their business, I think it's such a stressful time for
Yeah,
everybody involved. Um, it doesn't come without all that extra stress that's coming with the buyers and trying to get them into a home and losing all of, stuff
yep.
that we haven't really had to encounter in a long time.
Right, correct. You know, it's funny when an agent called me over this weekend, and I think I was taking a nap on Saturday, and when I woke up, I texted her, and she's also my friend. Not that everybody isn't my friend, but she was my friend before we came to Remax Elite. And I texted her back, and I said, were you calling, you know, for personal, or were you calling for work?" And she texted back, and she said, "I was calling to work for work. I just needed to vent. People are coming at each other, and agents are not being nice, and there's so many things that you can look at that Martin Luther King has said to help you get focused on the the giving nature and the being nice and kind to others and the standing up, for yourself and for others, really. But you're right. It's such a hard time, especially with the low inventory and the stress of trying to get your buyer a house and your one of eight offers, and you're trying to make it look appealing. And um, so keep yourself motivated by remembering why you're doing this. What it's for.
And make sure to celebrate the wins and not dwell on, I don't know.
The
To me, I
negativity.
just try to always tell myself it's kind of fate, and which is kind of horrible. But if I hit every red light, to me, there's a reason why. And I don't know, but it helps me. And then something bad, it's because, missing out on a house. Well, I don't know, fate.
It wasn't the right
Maybe there's
house.
something
I
bad.
always like to say it wasn't the right house. It
Right. It
wasn't.
wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't.
I don't,
It wasn't.
and that helps me. It helps me a lot.
So when I heard the next one that you should be doing in 2022, at first I was like, huh? And then I was like, oh, okay. So it's get permission to perform. Get permission to do your job or achieve your goals at the highest level you can. And by that, we mean, is there someone in your life that you need to have on board with you so they understand why you're working so hard? So whether it's your spouse or your partner or your children or your parents, you want them to be on board with you so they understand why on Saturday, instead of, I don't know, playing a family game, you're going out and working, and I think a lot of that sometimes though just has to do with getting yourself organized, because we don't always have to work on Saturday or at night. But if you take the time in the beginning of your career to lay the groundwork, it's a lot easier to have the family time. But if you're wanting to ramp up this year and say, I'm just picking numbers up out of my head, say you did 250,000 in gross commission and you want to double it and do 500,000, that means you're going to have to work a lot harder, and you need to discuss that with the people in your life that you need to get the permission to perform.
I actually found that very beneficial, and I wasn't sure how getting, Leo on board with my goals and what I'm looking to achieve, and kind of going over my business plan with him and what it's for. But when I included, things for me, for the house, for us, I think it really helps. So it's not, when I'm sitting, we're, Saturday morning working, but really he's on TikTok. So I'm just working on TikTok while we have the TV going. So, but honestly, I think it really helps because he's almost like, yeah, do that, because this was our goal, because we need the kitchen, or because, we are looking for this 5-year goal, and how do we achieve that, and bringing him in with all of this as like part of our family, part of the goals. It's really helping, because then he kind of encourages, and I don't want him to get too excited about all that, to like, no, keep working. No, we gotta I don't want that, but we are getting, right now it's not there yet. So, but
Right.
he is very encouraging when I am doing so. Oh yeah. We do this. Keep going. We're good. I'll feed the dogs. You got this.
That's awesome. But it's true. I mean, you need the people in your life to understand why, and have them be a part of it. So that's a perfect example where you included in your goals some family stuff that you can do because you're making the money. And so then you get the support to make the money because it helps achieve the family goals.
And hopefully it just doesn't burn you by, no, keep working, keep going, bye, go. But it is nice when it has to do with like the family, and, we've got some for this year and some that are like a 5-year goal, and working together. So we're both doing different things in our life to be able to do that 5-year goal. And that's been very helpful.
Yep.
And it's encouraging because there is that, yeah, go get it, do that, and keep it going. Well, you need, but even if it's not your spouse, but having, that tribe of people where you can, it's like a safe space to, here's my goals, and you're constantly encouraging each other. I know I have this, great group of girls, and that's, every single week we meet up and it's like, what are your struggles? What are, what do you need help with? And then it's great to be able to have that. And now that we have that technology to do the Zooms or, any, the Facebook meetups or anything, I think that's just so helpful. So
Yeah.
find that tribe of people that really lift you up and make you better at what you're doing and help you work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. Which is going to take us to the next thing, which is now we're kind of changing tracks here. And this is really just for the real estate people. List more houses than you ever have before. Set your goal to list. Because that's, I mean, you have a listing, you're going to have a sale. You have a buyer, you may or may not have a sale. And take all those steps to list more houses. So if you don't have a pre-listing package, put one together, get it together. Go through your listing package and update it or change it or improve it, find ways to make it better. Are you qualifying the sellers before the listing appointment? Or are you just going on listing appointments that, hey, Susan from Atlanta,
Yes.
I bet you guys are freezing. Or
I'm pretty sure they got some snow. A little bit. They got some. And it's rare. It's rare.
Just a quick aside, when I moved to Atlanta in 1991, like we were there a week and we moved from here and it snowed like immediately and we were like, oh my God, what have we done?
I remember living in Atlanta maybe 6 months and I was probably 9 or so and we got snow and we lived in a complex. So we just had fun with cardboard boxes. We got out of the dumpster to go down the hills and we ended up going to the tennis whatever and just skating around. I guess it was just shoes. I have no idea, but it was our bus stop and we just had so much fun and made our snowman. And my parents were watching me because we were like in townhomes that were on a hill. So we're trying to get to our friends that were up and we didn't have anything that we could, but it was all ice. So we're trying to go up and we just keep falling. And my parents were looking out the window laughing at us. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Fun time. It's always funny to see a Floridian in the snow.
Yeah.
So are you qualifying the sellers before you even go on that appointment? Are you making sure that they're, serious? Are you asking the questions so you know what to come with to be prepared with?
That's huge. The right questions. There's the when, the why, all of those questions. And I know we've gone over that before, just off the top.
Yeah, but for sure, like, yeah, what's their plan? When do they want to move? Why are they moving? Do you have a plan? Do you know where you're going? Especially in this market, do you know where you're going? So, and what's your process for a listing appointment? So if you haven't worked on that in a while, start working on that. Make sure your listing package is updated. Does your marketing campaign blow them away and show what your value is? I mean, look, there's a lot of competition out there right now. And so how many people are going on that listing appointment and how many people are saying the same things? What are you doing that's different, that shows your value, that makes you the right person for them to list the house with?
I mean, I see so many agents and they're just using cell phone photos because they don't have to use regular. And of course,
the houses are
we all know that's like a huge pet peeve, but I mean, that's still your portfolio.
Yes. I mean, that's still out there on the internet for the world to see.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes professional photos aren't warranted. Say you're selling a house that's, what's the right word? I can't think of the right word. So I'm just going to go a little rough. Maybe it has some tenants in it and they're not the cleanest people in the world or whatever.
But we had the box brownie, people can completely change all of that so that you have a vision of what the potential of a property.
True. But at the same time, you still want to, Melissa, fixer-uppers. I couldn't think of what the word was. You have a fixer-upper and you want to show it. Maybe you don't need professional photos. Sometimes I list some houses for my flippers and they're selling them just to help a seller get out and they may be pack rats. I mean, and there's no way you're going to get rid of all the stuff that's packed in there. So, in that instance, maybe you don't use a professional photographer, but I think 99% of the time you should have professional photos.
And
You
just
know,
anything in marketing that may be different than what somebody, the next agent that, I mean, usually they meet with a few agents.
yeah,
What are you doing that stands out or that's different than somebody else? And make sure that you are showcasing that, because that is your value
yeah,
and what you can bring to the table. And a lot of agents, sometimes if you just forget about that, or you have this, your listing presentation that's, kind of dated and old. And, I'm more about the rapport, but I think that's why, that talking with them and finding out the right questions so that you can really target those in that conversation that you're having, to be able to give yourself that rapport and stuff like that.
yeah. Rapport is huge. And how are you educating them on price, especially in this market? Do you have your stats? Do you know the facts? Can you support what you're suggesting the price should be, rather than what they're suggesting the price should be? Make sure make sure you're studying your stats. Here's another one. Are you explaining the process? And if you've forgotten that part of it, remember, a lot of times this is the first time people are selling a house in 20 or 30 years. And the process was different then. Even 5 years ago, the process was different. If the process was different 3 years ago, to now, just based on the way the market is. So are you educating them, or have you practiced that, what you're going to say and how you're going to say it? And I'm always, I think scripts are awesome, but I think once you've studied the scripts and you understand the overcoming objections, you have to make it yours, so
Right. And
that
I think
they
that's the big thing about the practicing the scripting, because then it becomes second nature. You turn it into your own, and then it's super easy, just to be able to come back with something because you have that knowledge and stuff like that.
Exactly. And then, or how are you handling objections, and are you doing it in a way that makes you stand out? Don't just be a yes man or woman. You are the expert. You are the professional. You're there to help them sell their home, not for them to tell you how they want you to do it. So make sure you know how to overcome those objections when a seller says, well, I want it this way, or I want it that way, or whatever it is. I mean, and sometimes, an open house is a good example. I personally am not a huge open house person, but if I have a seller who wants one, I'll do it. But I explained to them what to expect. I mean, I can count on one hand in a 21-year career how many times the house has sold from the open house. You know, so make sure you can overcome those objections. And if you're not the one who's going to do the open house, if someone else from your office is going to be doing it, make sure you've educated the seller and told them why that is and why it won't be you. Because that's important too, because when someone else shows up and they're like, oh, I thought Kerry was coming, I didn't expect Susie, that make sure they understand.
I love that about the Terry. Was it Terry Winton? And he
Terry
was
Winston.
really good about that, making sure you share the expectations so that everybody's on the same page, and here's how the flow is going to work and why. I think that's super important, because so many times agents just think like an agent, and they're
Yeah.
not thinking on a consumer level to be able to explain that. And I think that just helps the process go a lot smoother when there is those expectations and
Completely.
what could happen. And I know we have like that sheet of, someone is going to leave a light on, someone,
So yeah, someone's going to leave a light on, even if we ask them not to use your bathroom.
someone's probably going to use the
Somebody's
restroom,
going
even though we don't want them to. I mean,
somebody's going to use it. Somebody's going to knock on your door, especially in this market, and ask to see it. So make sure you're educating your sellers up front on how to handle these things. I mean, I hate to say this, someone might leave your front door unlocked, which is
that's
horrible.
where,
But
like us, we have like the punchy keypad thing, and we can set it to automatically lock. So
right,
that makes it nice.
it does make it nice. And then, sorry,
And
choose the
there's
4 to 7 daily disciplines that will bring you success. So whatever that is, whether it's setting up a morning routine, I mean, you have your morning
For
routine
me,
down.
that is crucial. That's crucial.
Yeah. I go
I've
back
had
and
to
forth.
change it because I drink my coffee until I can actually see my steps, because steps are not my friend right now. So I'm having to kind of change that, but I just have my laptop and I'm just sitting while I'm drinking my coffee to actually wake up and attempt to do those steps before coming out to my office.
That's all. That's great. So, especially with the snow and the ice,
Yeah, I
no,
was like, oh, okay, gotta do
no,
it today.
know the data. Make sure you're looking at the MLS stats or the interest rates or the trends. So maybe that's part of your morning routine. Reading news articles, looking at the stats, looking at the new listings. Looking at the new listings, you try to do a couple of times a day, but make sure you know the facts and figures, so to speak, so that you can speak on an educated level when people ask you questions.
That's huge, especially if you're, to know the subdivision and the area and the homes or new construction or whatever it is, especially in your immediate farm areas. But I mean, that's why we're always saying, someone wants you to come to a listing appointment, try to give yourself enough time so that you can be prepared and have all that information and do a little research on it, as especially if it's not something that you're there all the time, just because knowledge is power. And really, I think you come across so much better knowing these facts and having that information versus going there and just winging it in this market where listings are king, queen,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. To prepare yourself so
Yeah.
that you can focus, you have all that data, but you can really focus on that report to really win over that listing.
Exactly. Practice your scripts, like we said. So, especially the ones like overcoming objectives, practice scripts, when a seller says this, what you should say. But remember, you're not a robot. So don't, it's not like you're, reading from a book. Now you clean the window.
No, and that's why I don't even like the presentation, because
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just had too many presentations where they just read the book and they're like not even making eye contact or having conversation with me. And that immediately became a pet peeve. And I like threw away the presentation, or now whatever, here it is, a leave behind. We're just going over what is important to you. Here's all
Yep.
the other information that you can.
My presentation is a leave behind, that it has been for years. I talk with them, make the report, and then I do the leave behind. But I've practiced my scripts. I know what to say if somebody says this or whatever.
Right.
I don't want a lockbox, and then it depends on the person and the situation and where the listing is in relationship to where I am. I had somebody say recently they didn't want a lockbox because they had too many valuable things. And I said, well, I've been, knock wood, I've been doing this 21 years. And, and yeah, people are coming.
I can't do what you guys do because
people are coming to view your home to buy it. We don't have time to, I'm not hooking up with thieves and showing them houses. Like, I don't have time for that. I'm only working.
It's just pack it up.
Yeah.
Pack them up, put them in boxes. Like,
you're looking
to sell, you have to pack it eventually. Start packing.
That's my line with the decluttering, when they're like, oh, but my stuff. I'm like, what's our end goal? And they'll say, well, the end goal is to sell the house. And what's our time frame? Then they answer the time frame. Okay, so you know what we need to do? We need to start packing right now, because usually from contract to close here is 30 days. 30 days isn't enough for all the stuff you have. So let's just start packing it now. So make sure you're setting time for appointment setting, whatever that is, and however you do it, whether you're a door knocker, whether you're doing follow up on Facebook, whether you're doing, I've listened to Quintavious talk a few times, who's with Remax over there in Mississippi, and he doesn't even have a CRM. He uses his phone, and he has people. He puts a letter next to their name so he knows where they are on his list of, and he'll text or call or email those people. He'll just swipe through his phone. So whatever your way of making appointments is, make sure you're setting time each day to do that. And then set the goal. How many appointments do you want each day? Because that's going to dictate how much time you're working,
And when you do the business planning, it tells you right there, these are the amount of calls to appointments, and this is what I need to do every day.
Yep. So just quick roundup. You're going to stay motivated because motivation matters. You're going to get the permission to perform. Whoever that is in your life, you need the permission from. You're going to list more houses than ever this year. So you're going to take the steps to make sure your listing presentation is on point. And you're going to choose, 4 to 7 disciplines to do each day that are on your calendar that you're making sure you're doing. For sure.
I think those are great, easy tips that sometimes I just think we forget about.
I think so too. I think the morning routine is huge. I'm good at that, and then I'm bad at it. Then I'm good at it, then I'm bad at it.
And mine is 7 days a week. So like Leo likes to sleep in on Saturday and Sunday, but I'm still up at 5:30, and my morning routine is my morning routine. You sleep all you want, but I don't need an alarm. I don't need anything. And I like to keep that 7 days a week because I can get so much done in 3 hours in the morning, and then people wake up and whatever.
Right.
I get so much done. And so 7 days a week, I don't really care. I like to get up, and I love that I don't even need an alarm anymore. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's our weekly activity?
So get a jump start on your business plan for the new year, and be sure to build in the parts of your business that you're passionate about. That's huge.
Go ahead. Keep
going. Doing the parts that you're passionate about, and then you always have to do a few parts that you're not necessarily passionate about. But if you're passionate about it, you're going to do it.
It's like you have to do the bad with the good to even it all out.
Right. And then our words of wisdom.
I had to change it up because it is MLK Day. So one of my favorite quotes, especially in these last couple years, is darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And that is one of my there's so many favorite quotes I have of his, but that one just really resonates the last couple years, just because we're in crazy times. Real estate's crazy, life is crazy. Everything is crazy. So I absolutely love that. And it's part of like my little desktop, little quotey things, just because it's so powerful.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So powerful. Well, we have some other great shows. We hope everyone has a fabulous day. No kids. I know up here, they're probably over at the mall where there's a bunch of hills on their sleds. That's where they'd hang out because there's no school today. But until next week, wake up, kick ass, and repeat. Bye, everybody.